Hello, welcome to the channel, welcome to the studio. My name is Kavin Campbell. I am an artist. Today I am continuing work on commissioned portrait for my dear sister Gina, and I will not be talking about her until the last episode. Today I am pretty much going to be talking about painting through the pain. Today I will pretty much be finishing up the background, and that's pretty much it. Painting through the pain. What can I say? Here recently, I have suffered some tremendous losses. A couple years ago, both of my parents passed away, and that was something that I still am very much dealing with their loss. It is a hard thing to deal with the loss of loved ones, and in this case, it is proven to be extraordinarily difficult. And here, extremely recently, the love of my life walked out of my life, and that has really devastated me. I have in the past lost friends and loved ones, and dealing with death is never easy. When it is your parents, it is a lot. It is extraordinarily difficult. I lost my father in July, and then shortly thereafter in September, I lost my mother. And I still very much am dealing with that. I have suffered many heartbreaks in relationships over the years, but none so painful as this. In the circumstances of it, I found myself shamefully having cursed God even. And I challenged God to kill me. Literally, I did not want to live another minute. And I at that point where I was when the pain was very acute, I was done. You know, I was over it. I couldn't take it. I didn't want to deal with the amount of pain that this would bring. And when God didn't kill me, and I found myself still here and alive, out of brash and rash and misplaced emotions, I made a decision that I would not paint anymore. I found myself in a place where, if you look at the word heart, you will see that it says he art, and me couldn't. And I couldn't, you know. She walked out my life and she took my heart with her, and I just couldn't get myself together to come in here in the studio and sit down and paint. I was over it. I was done with it. And through a number of in-depth, heartfelt, painful conversations with friends and loved ones, I came to the conclusion that I would continue to paint, that I couldn't stop. This is the third installment of this painting as I have it set here, but I had previously posted 2 other videos. That's why when this video series starts, the painting is already done. In those 2 other videos, it was called The Last Canvas. I was done. I wasn't going to paint anymore. But thankfully, I had a long and in-depth conversation with myself, and I realized that I am an artist, and I am always going to be an artist, and I continued to pick up the brush. And so I continue. And I started this new process here, this new video series. And at this juncture, I actually have a couple commissions in the works and some other things. One of the things that was a problem, because I am 54 years old and I started drawing when I was 3, so that puts me at about 51 years of being an artist. And it has been something that, although I certainly love it and it gave me lots of fulfillment, it took so many things away from me. And the pain of that was something that I just, I couldn't bear. And then, emotional distress, I made some rash decisions, and, thankfully, I'm still here, still alive, and I'm still painting. Now, with that being said, I still hurt. I still grieve my parents, and I am now especially grieving the loss of the love of my life and my heart that she took with her. And it was something that has proven to be challenging, to say the least, dealing with. I have certainly in the beginning of this storm dealt with it poorly. And I am slowly but surely getting myself back together and getting on the right track. But part of the problem with how I was doing things, well, besides the fact that I was trying to paint my way out of poverty, was that I put so much pressure on myself to please other people. I wasn't painting for me, and in a lot of cases, many artists really aren't. You always paint with the idea in the back of your mind that other people will look at your art. And it is important to artists that they be recognized and appreciated for the work that they do. And so for me, it was the utmost to paint to please other people, and one of the things that I can certainly tell you is that, it isn't necessarily a bad thing to be a people pleaser, but you cannot be a people pleaser unless you first please yourself. And I was not doing any of this for me, not even in a little bit. And so really it was just the pressure of performing, knowing that, once I sent the painting out, I wouldn't see it anymore. and that their eyes would look on the painting for the rest of their days, and then their children would look on it for the rest of their days, their children's children, and then for generations to continue, eyes would gaze upon that art. And so that was what I had in mind in most cases. And so with deep conversation with, like I said, my close friends who I consider to be family, Gina included, one of the things that I had to come to terms with is that I really can't continue to paint for other people. You know what I mean? And pleasing other people. That I have to paint to please me. That I have to find the joy in painting for myself again, and remove the pressure and just bask in the joy of moving paint on the canvas. And that brings me to where I am now. I am still very much hurting from a lot of things, but I have to paint. I have to finish this commission, and fortunately I have a couple of other commissions coming up. So I have to reinvest my energy in myself. It was always a big thing for me to put 100% of myself into the painting for other people. And that once that painting was shipped and gone, well, then a giant-sized piece of me was gone. And yes, certainly in every case, those people would say how much they love the art. They would post it, and there'd be lots and lots and lots of comments about how great it was, how awesome, all, the likes and the loves and thumbs up, and all of those things are wonderful. They certainly feed that part of me that drives me as an artist. But when you have a hole in your soul, then none of those things that anybody could ever say about how great and how fantastic and how wonderful the art is going to linger long enough to make me well, to make me happy. And what I had to learn to do was fix my broken heart. I had to learn to find the cracks and sew them together. I had to figure out what it is about being an artist that makes me get up in the morning. What it is about being an artist that fills my lungs with air, that keeps me breathing, keeps my heart beating, keeps my pulse racing, And I, unfortunately, because of, trying to please people, I put so much of that in the hands of other people. And it isn't that people didn't appreciate me, but there's this place where there's only so much that anyone can do to make you love you. And I had to sort of figure that out, and the last couple days, it's been strange in a way, because, I'm one of those people who has always had the wonderful wisdom to be able to counsel and minister others in pain. But when I'm in pain, the only thing in my head are negative thoughts and negative feelings, and I can't say anything. I can't give myself good advice to save my life, right? And so one of the things that I told this most special loved one who was struggling with her self-esteem one day, I told her, I said, you know, what you need to do is you need to look in the mirror every day and give yourself a kiss and tell yourself that you love you. And, you know, I can't remember the last time I even did that, except to say that, you know, over the last couple days, that is exactly what I've done. And, you know, it's funny to get up close and personal with your face and kiss yourself. You know, the glass is hard and usually cold, and you should probably wipe it clean before you do so. But, you know, there's actually some real strength to loving yourself. And it took me a minute. Excuse my dogs in the background. Again, they're probably barking at nothing. But it takes some real inner strength to fall in love with yourself after having many years of self-loathing, you know. And that is how I have been able to find a way to paint through the pain. Yes, it hurts. It hasn't stopped hurting. In some cases, I can be quite honest with you, the pain is worse now than it was that day. Because on that day, there was a lot of things that I didn't know. And the pain of not knowing is tremendous. But you know what's worse? The pain of knowing. And that has been even more difficult to deal with, you know? When you don't know something, your mind can run wild on all the scenarios and all the questions that never get answered. But when you get some answers, you can't argue. You just have to accept it. And so fighting pain is sometimes easier than just accepting it. And in this, I have had to accept the pain, you know, and get up, come into the studio, sit down, pick up my brush, and start working. And then the hardest part of that is painting out of love for myself and love for what I'm doing, and filtering out all my pain, all my sadness, all my anger at myself, all my self-doubt, my self-loathing. Filter all that stuff out, because you don't want to put that in art that you are going to be sending off to be hanging in someone else's house. That energy comes out. It comes through, you know? If you are not in your right mind, you don't make the right decisions. And creatively, if you are self-destructive, it is very hard to be outwardly creative. And so with that, you know, I got to a point where I realized that painting through pain is what the rest of my life is going to be like. And accepting that is been probably one of the most difficult things I've ever had to do artistically in my life. It is having an understanding that I have to paint for me. I have to paint for my own personal joy, because then in painting for my own personal joy, then the truest essence of who I am and the love that I feel come out through the brush. And that is what your customers will feel. That is what their families will see. That is what the generations to follow will experience. And 200 years from now, if this painting should find itself in the Louvre, right, then the masses that come to gaze upon it are going to feel all of the best parts of me before they throw tomato soup on it. And, hopefully that's not the case, but today's a crazy world. And for some reason, people are targeting art. I don't know. Need to figure this stuff out. But suffice it to say that there's always going to be heartache. There is always going to be pain. Whether you get over it or not, there's going to be new pain tomorrow, right? The world is manufacturing heartbreak for me tomorrow, right? And so I have to let the heartbreak of yesterday be and live in yesterday. And I have to fight through what I feel today and with strength look forward to being stronger to deal with the pain that's on its way. That's the only thing that we can ever do. As artists, it is our calling to be creative. And it is seldom ever creation for our own happiness. But that is where it starts. When I was 3 years old, I was still painting to get attention, but I was painting because I loved it. I loved all the colors. I loved making a mess. I loved getting paint on everything that I wasn't supposed to get paint on. And the reality of that is that joy is still there. And so the thing that will help you, as it has helped me, to paint through the pain is to carry joy. Don't ever, ever put that down and leave your creativity alone. Don't never stop painting. As long as you got fingers, paint. Even if you don't got fingers. I've seen people with no arms paint with their feet. I've seen people with no arms and no feet paint with their teeth. Create. Make it. Paint to heal your heart. Paint to make you feel whole. Paint to make you feel worthy to yourself. And then all of those things, all of those expressions will show up. The energy will be put in every brushstroke, and every person that ever claps eyes on your art will see that passion, will feel that passion, and be touched by that passion. And that is the gift of being an artist. That is what it is to be a creator. God did not create this world for him. He created this world for us, but it pleased him, right? So I create art for the masses, for the world, for you, for my friend Gina, my dear sister, for many of my other friends. But ultimately, and most importantly, I paint for me. I paint through the pain, and with every brushstroke, I heal myself. I reinvigorate myself. I find lost confidence. I found value in a place where I had no self-worth. This is what it is to paint through the pain. One thing that I want to leave you guys with before I go is that there is nothing more special than giving your heart to people, right? And if ever anyone is ever so generous that they give their heart to you, never, not even for an instant, not even for a microsecond, take that for granted. If you do, you may lose something that will never return. You may lose something that you will never get back. And there, in that place, there's no Band-Aid big enough. There's nothing that can fill that emptiness. So please, look at your loved ones and hug them with your whole heart and hold on till your arms fall off. And then hug them with your soul. Look inside your children's eyes and let them know that they are the reason you live and breathe, and never let them go. They are the reason why we live. That's it. There's no other reason to be here, even being an artist. We're here for other people. We are here for the benefit of those we love. And I love you, and I hope you love yourself. Thank you for watching.